The planet Lysara 7 was quiet, too quiet. Its silver cities shimmered under a pale sun, but the streets were empty. The usual hum of energy grids and hovering vehicles had gone silent. Only the tall, spindly towers stood, flickering weakly as if holding their breath. The aliens of Lysara 7 had always been proud of their technology. They had built machines to bend the weather, to harness energy from the planet itself, and to communicate across light years. But now all of it was failing. In the central council chamber, a group of alien leaders gathered. Their bodies glowed faintly, a sign of stress among their kind. They had tried everything: energy stabilizers, emergency power reserves, even tapping into nearby moons, but nothing worked. The planet was dying slowly, and they were powerless to stop it. "We must call for help," said Lyra, her voice soft but urgent. Her eyes reflected the flickering lights around them. "If we stay silent, we will perish alone. Call to whom?" Another leader replied. "No other civilizations dare approach Lysara 7. Our signals will be ignored, or worse, answered by enemies." Lyra's glow brightened with determination. "We have no choice. We cannot wait for hope to find us. We must reach out to the galaxy. We must send the distress signal." With trembling hands, the council activated the ancient communications array. The device crackled and hummed, sending a pulse across the stars. The message was simple, a universal signal for help. It was both a plea and a warning. Lysara 7 is in danger. We need aid. We are not your enemies. Far away, in the dark stretches between galaxies, a ship drifted silently. Its hull was black and scarred, shaped to survive attacks from worlds no one else dared to explore. Inside, Captain Jackson ran his fingers along the console. The Deathworlders were not like ordinary humans. They had survived where others would have died. Their training, strength, and ability to endure extreme conditions made them feared and respected across the stars. Jackson's ship was a relic in appearance, but inside it held the latest survival technology. Sensors scanned space constantly, searching for threats, resources, and opportunities. That's when the signal arrived. It was faint at first, almost like static, but then it grew stronger, unmistakable in its urgency. He paused, studying the coordinates. "Lysara 7, he muttered. His eyes narrowed. A peaceful world or a trap? Could be both. The crew, seasoned and cautious, exchanged glances. Captain, responding could put us in danger. "We don't even know what's happening there," said Mara, his second in command. Jackson leaned back in his chair, considering. "Or we could save a civilization that no one else will. We've survived worse, and we've thrived where others failed. This is exactly the kind of challenge we are built for." The ship's engines hummed as he gave the order. "Prepare for hyperspace jump. Set course for Lysara 7. Let's see if we can answer a call that no one else dared." Meanwhile, on Lysara 7, the council watched the stars anxiously. Days passed with no reply, and the aliens began to lose hope. Then faint shapes appeared on the horizon, massive ships, dark and angular, moving fast. The council's fear grew. These were not small rescue vessels. They were enormous, powerful, and unlike anything the aliens had ever built or imagined. "Are they coming to destroy us?" asked a young council member, her glow dimming with fear. Lyra shook her head. "I do not know, but we must hope they come in peace." The Deathworlders' ships entered orbit with precision. Jackson's craft touched down near the capital, sending dust and energy sparks into the air. The aliens watched from a distance, shields up, ready to defend themselves at the first sign of aggression. Jackson stepped out of his ship. He was tall, muscular, and calm even in the alien environment. His suit was simple but functional, designed to survive toxic air, high winds, and unstable terrain. He raised his hand in a universal gesture of peace, though he knew the aliens might see it as a threat. The council held their breath. For a long moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, one of the elder aliens stepped forward, cautiously lowering a protective shield. Jackson spoke slowly, using a translation device that converted his language into the nearest alien dialect. "I come in response to your distress call," he said. "We mean no harm." "We are here to help," the alien elders whispered among themselves. They had prepared for invaders, for conquerors, but not for saviors. They could not fully believe what they were seeing. Lyra stepped forward, her glow brightening slightly. You have come? You are not here to destroy us?" Jackson shook his head. "We are Deathworlders. We survive where others cannot. We adapt. If your world is in danger, we can help you survive." A sense of cautious hope spread through the council. They had sent the distress call, expecting perhaps a small fleet of diplomats or technicians. Instead, they had received warriors, humans unlike any they had known, strong, fearless, and willing to face any danger. Jackson observed the alien city. Cracks ran through buildings, energy flickered across the towers, and the streets were empty. The signs of disaster were everywhere, but where the alien saw doom, he saw a puzzle that could be solved. "We will need your guidance," Jackson said. "Show us where the dangers are worst. Tell us what we can fix first." The council hesitated. Their pride struggled against their desperation. Finally, Lyra nodded. We will guide you. But know this, our planet is not gentle. It is full of hazards that no being has survived before. Many will fail here, even with skill. Can you truly endure it?" Jackson smiled faintly. "We are Deathworlders. Survival is our nature." And so the first step of an unlikely alliance began. On Lysara 7, the peaceful aliens met the unstoppable humans. Across the galaxy, a quiet world prepared for a storm, not of weather but of courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable will. The part ends with Jackson and his crew moving into the heart of the city, carefully navigating unstable streets while the aliens watch, still unsure whether these humans are saviors or legends come alive. The sun rose pale over Lysara 7, but it did little to warm the broken city. Energy pulses flickered across the towers, sending shadows dancing along cracked streets. Captain Jackson and his crew moved carefully, scanning the environment. Toxic clouds hung low and the ground shifted unpredictably. Ordinary beings would have turned back, but the Deathworlders thrived in danger. "This place is worse than the simulations," said Mara, adjusting her visor. Her eyes followed the flickering energy lines that ran across the city like veins. "But nothing we haven't handled before." Jackson nodded. "Stay sharp. Watch for sudden energy surges and falling debris. The city is alive, but it's angry. Let's make it calm down." The aliens followed at a distance. Lyra, glowing faintly, tried to match the humans' pace. Her legs were slender, not built for rapid movement, and the ground shifted beneath her feet. She whispered to another council member, "I do not understand how they can move so freely. Their bodies. They are different, stronger, faster." Jackson noticed her gaze and offered a small smile. "Different does not mean weaker. It means adaptable." The first major hazard struck without warning. A sudden quake shook the ground beneath them, sending chunks of concrete and metal crashing down from nearby towers. Mara dove, pulling another crew member to safety. Jackson grabbed a falling panel with one hand, holding it long enough for a small alien to escape being crushed. The alien froze, staring at him in shock. They saved me," whispered the alien, voice trembling. "Stay calm," Jackson said. "We survive by keeping our heads." It became clear to the aliens that these humans were unlike anyone they had ever known. They did not panic even when disaster struck. Instead, they moved with purpose, thinking faster than the dangers around them. As they advanced toward the energy core district, the streets became more unstable. Cracks split open, releasing bursts of toxic gas. Some towers had collapsed completely, blocking the paths. The aliens hesitated, unsure of how to proceed. "Let us handle the path," Jackson said. "You follow our lead. If we fall together, but we will not fall easily." He and his crew began creating temporary pathways, using tools to stabilize debris and redirect energy pulses. The aliens watched, fascinated. They had technology far more advanced in some ways, but it was delicate and rigid. The humans were improvising, creating solutions with speed, strength, and creativity. "This is incredible," Lyra murmured. "They are using what we would consider junk and turning it into safety." Suddenly, a bright energy surge shot from a broken tower, striking the ground nearby. The force sent several aliens tumbling. Jackson leaped forward, catching two of them before they hit the ground. He glanced at Lyra. "You cannot rely on force fields alone. Sometimes you have to act quickly and take calculated risks." The aliens nodded, absorbing every movement. Slowly, they began to understand that survival here was not about technology alone. It was about courage, quick thinking, and willingness to face danger without hesitation. Hours passed, and they reached the outskirts of the main energy core chamber. The structure was massive, a glowing nexus of power that controlled the city's energy flow. But the damage was severe. Sparks flew in dangerous arcs, and the chamber hummed with instability. Any wrong step could trigger a catastrophic collapse. "This is worse than we imagined," Lyra said, her glow flickering nervously. "Nothing we can't fix," Jackson replied calmly. Mara, set up a perimeter. Keep the aliens safe and start stabilizing the minor nodes. I'll go in and check the main core. As Jackson entered the chamber, the aliens stayed back, unsure if they should intervene. The humans worked like a single organism. Tools in hand, they dodged arcs of energy, tightened loose conduits, and rerouted power lines in seconds. Even when a segment of the floor collapsed, Jackson used a makeshift bridge to cross it safely, barely pausing as sparks rained around him. The aliens began to murmur among themselves. They do not fear death, one whispered. Not like we do. Not even when the planet itself seems to fight them. Outside, Mara coordinated the aliens, showing them how to assist safely. They moved cautiously but steadily, carrying debris, stabilizing small energy nodes, and following Jackson's guidance. Slowly, the humans and aliens formed a team. The aliens could not believe their own eyes. They had always thought of themselves as advanced, yet these humans were rewriting the rules of survival. Suddenly, a massive quake shook the entire city. Energy pulses went wild, and a portion of the chamber ceiling collapsed. Jackson shouted, "Hold your ground. Keep moving toward the nodes." He grabbed a fallen conduit and used it to prop up part of the ceiling, holding it long enough for the aliens to pass through safely. By the end of the day, small victories accumulated. Several critical nodes had been stabilized, and the most dangerous areas were secured. Exhausted but alive, the aliens finally began to relax. They had been watching survival unfold in front of them, and it changed something in their hearts. Lyra approached Jackson, her glow steady now. I do not know how to thank you. Your people. You are not like anyone we have known." Jackson smiled faintly. "We do what we must. Survival is not just skill, it is courage, adaptability, and refusing to give up. We will not leave until your world is safe." For the first time in days, hope returned to Lysera 7. The aliens had sent a distress call expecting little, and instead they found humans capable of facing dangers that no one else could survive. Trust began to form, slowly but steadily, as the aliens realized that these Deathworlders were not invaders. They were the allies they desperately needed. As night fell over the battered city, fires from damaged towers lit the skyline. Jackson and his crew prepared for the next stage, repairing the main energy core before the planet's instability worsened. The aliens, once doubtful and fearful, now watched in awe. Humanity, in all its unyielding strength, had shown them that hope could survive even in the darkest hour. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the message of Lysera 7's survival spread quietly. The legend of humans, the Deathworlders, would soon be known to all. The next morning, Lysera 7 trembled as if the planet itself was testing the newcomers. Massive storms rolled across the sky, lightning crackling in arcs that threatened to strike at any moment. The energy core, still unstable, pulsed with erratic power. The aliens whispered nervously among themselves, fearing the worst. Jackson surveyed the damage from the chamber's entrance. "This is it," he said. "If we fail now, the city falls completely. But if we succeed, it will live. Everyone stay sharp." Mara and the crew moved swiftly to secure the outer nodes, while Jackson, equipped with reinforced tools and protective gear, entered the heart of the energy core. Sparks danced along the walls and the floor shook beneath each step. Every wrong move could trigger a catastrophic overload. Yet Jackson advanced with the calm precision of someone who had faced far worse. Inside the chamber, alien engineers tried to assist, but they were unsure, moving slowly, their fear holding them back. Jackson guided them. "Move this conduit here. Stabilize that node there. Timing is everything. Do not hesitate." Outside, Mara coordinated the aliens in clearing debris and securing smaller buildings. The humans worked alongside them, showing how to reinforce structures quickly, how to reroute energy safely, and how to respond to sudden dangers. The aliens began to learn, watching humans handle chaos as if it were routine. Suddenly, the main energy core began to flare dangerously. Sparks shot in every direction, and a loud hum filled the chamber as if the planet itself screamed. Jackson's eyes narrowed. He grabbed a control panel, studying it quickly. "It's a feedback loop. Too much power is feeding back into the system. We need to release it slowly, node by node, or it will blow," one of the alien engineers, trembling, asked. "But how can you control such force without being destroyed?" Jackson glanced at him. "Focus, patience, and courage. If you hesitate, it will kill you. If you act too fast, it will kill you. Balance, that's all. Working together, Humans and aliens began the delicate process of stabilizing the core. Sparks flew dangerously close to Jackson's suit, but he moved with calm determination. He adjusted conduits, rerouted energy, and used temporary shields to block the worst of the surges. Every move had to be precise, and every second counted. Outside, a sudden quake threw a group of aliens off their feet. Mara lunged forward, catching one and pulling another to safety. The aliens looked at the humans in awe. They do not fear anything, one whispered. Even death does not stop them. Hours passed like this with tense focus and constant danger. Slowly, the energy core began to stabilize. The hum of uncontrolled power softened. The sparks became less frequent and the feedback loop was contained. Jackson wiped sweat from his brow. Almost there, he muttered. Then the biggest test arrived. A massive shockwave from a nearby quake threatened to collapse the chamber entirely. Debris fell and the floor cracked beneath Jackson's feet. He realized he had seconds to act. Using a combination of strength and ingenuity, he jammed a collapsing support with a reinforced beam, while simultaneously rerouting the last critical energy lines. Sparks exploded around him, but the beam held. The energy core stabilized completely, glowing steadily as it should. The chamber fell silent except for the soft hum of functioning energy. Jackson breathed heavily, but he allowed himself a small smile. Outside, the aliens cheered quietly, amazed and relieved. They had survived the impossible thanks to these humans. Lyra stepped forward, her glow brighter than it had been in days. You saved our city, she said, her voice trembling with gratitude. We sent a call for help, expecting diplomats or engineers. Instead, you came as saviors and more. You faced death itself and you triumphed. Jackson shook his head. We only did what anyone would do for those in danger. We survive, yes, but we also help others survive. That is what we do. The aliens began to understand something new about humanity. Their technology had always been advanced, but it had been rigid, delicate, and slow to respond to chaos. Humans, even though simpler in some ways, adapted instantly. They moved with purpose, courage, and creativity, turning disaster into opportunity. The Deathworlders were not just survivors. They were legends made real. Over the next few days, the humans worked with the aliens to restore other parts of the city. Buildings were reinforced, energy grids repaired, and the skies cleared slowly as the planet's unstable system settled. The aliens, once fearful and hesitant, began participating actively, guided by human example. Trust and respect grew stronger with every challenge overcome. Finally, the city was secure. The aliens gathered in the central square, a place that had once been empty and silent. Now it was filled with life again. Children cautiously peered out from behind walls. Elders whispered excitedly, and the entire population watched as Jackson and his crew stood among them. Lyra approached Jackson. Your people, they are extraordinary. You have shown us that courage, ingenuity, and determination can triumph where technology alone cannot. We owe you more than we can express. Jackson nodded humbly. We do not seek reward. We only act because it is right. Survival is not about power or strength alone. It is about acting when others cannot. That is what defines us. The aliens, deeply moved, offered a formal invitation. Join us in creating a new council, Lyra said. A partnership of humans and Lycerans. Together we can protect this planet and others from dangers no one can face alone. Jackson smiled. He looked at his crew, then back at the grateful aliens. Then let it be so. But remember this, do not underestimate what humans can do. We thrive in danger, and we will always fight to survive and to help those who cannot survive alone. As the sun set over Lysera 7, the city glowed with renewed life. Towers that had once flickered weakly now shone steadily. Streets were filled with cautious but hopeful movement, and the sky cleared of toxic clouds. The planet had survived the worst, not because of technology alone, but because humanity had answered a call that no one else dared to answer. And somewhere deep in the stars, word began to spread. Across galaxies, tales of the humans, the Deathworlders, would travel far and wide. They were fearless, resourceful, and unyielding. They were not just survivors, they were heroes.